This is the reading for 11.1 Borrowing Basics. Todd is excited about his new cell phone, but Ramon raised some good questions. What do you think about Todd's purchase? So here's what happens. Hey Ramon, check out this new phone I bought. It has everything. It's a really great deal. I signed some papers, and I only have to pay $30 a month. Do you know how long you have to keep it? And how can you pay for it? You always borrow money from me. It's a $90 phone, so I'm sure I only have to pay for 3 months. And don't worry, bro, I got a credit card. So, do we think Todd can afford this purchase? Also, is it wise for him to get a credit card to pay for his phone? What do you think might happen if Todd can't pay his bill? How might this affect his credit? What is credit? Credit is the ability to borrow money. When you borrow money on credit, you get a loan. You make a promise to pay back the money you borrowed plus some extra. The extra amount is part of the cost of borrowing money. This cost is also called interest. If you use credit carefully, it can be useful to you. Not being careful in the way you use credit can cause problems. Having good credit means that you make your loan payments on time to repay the money you owe. If you have a good credit record, it will be easier to borrow money in the future. However, if you have problems using credit responsibly, it will be harder to borrow money. So why is credit important? Credit is important because it can be useful in times of emergencies, is more convenient than carrying large amounts of cash, allows you to make a large purchase like a car or a house and pay for it over time, and it can affect your ability to obtain employment, housing, and insurance based on how you manage it. Collateral. Lenders take a risk to lend you money. Therefore, they want to be sure that their money is secure and they get repaid. You will often hear loans referred to as either unsecured or as secured by collateral or guarantee. Credit is often secured. Collateral is security to help you provide the lender. Example, you pledge an asset, something valuable that you own, including a car, home, or savings account, to the lender with the agreement that it will be used as repayment if you cannot pay the loan. Certain items, like the following, generally can't be used as collateral, unless they are used to secure the purchase of that item itself. Furniture for your home, clothing, kitchenware. A guarantee is a form of collateral. For example, if you don't qualify for a loan, you might ask someone to co-sign for the loan. That means that if you do not make the loan payments to the bank as agreed, the co-signer needs to pay the money you borrowed plus interest back to the bank. A secured loan is one where you pledge collateral to repay the loan. Home equity loans and loans to purchase a car are two common examples. An unsecured loan is not backed by collateral. For example, personal and student loans and credit cards, although some credit cards are secure. Types of loans. Credit cards. Credit cards give you the ongoing ability to borrow money for a household, family, or other personal expense. Having a credit card allows you to buy things without actually having the money right away. Remember that if you are not careful in spending, you can get into big trouble. You could be burdened with debt. You need to be sure you are able to make at least the minimum monthly payment on your credit card bill. Ideally, though, you will pay your bill in full each month to avoid paying costly interest to the lender. Consumer installment loans. A consumer installment loan is used to buy personal items for you and your family. It's called an installment loan because you pay the same amount each month in installments. One of the more common types of installment loans is to purchase a car. A student loan is also paid in installments over time. Cheaper than alternatives. When you need to borrow money for a larger purchase, there are certain advantages of borrowing through an installment loan instead of through a credit card or rent-to-own service. You are aware of the monthly payment amount and time period given to pay off the loan. Installment loans, especially when secured by collateral, generally have much lower rates, so it costs you less to borrow money. Repaying an installment loan includes principal and interest according to a preset payment schedule. This reduces the original loan balance during the term of the loan. Activity 1. Consumer installment loan versus rent-to-own. I'd like you to go ahead and examine this chart, and then we're going to talk about Grace's situation. So let's take a look at the chart. Consumer installment loans. They're secured installment loans that are loans repaid in equal monthly payments for a specific period and are secured by the item you purchased. You can use the item you purchased while you're paying. With installment loans, you are charged interest and you can shop for the best deal by comparing APRs. Generally, installment loans are less expensive than rent-to-own agreements. A rent-to-own service. Rent-to-own services allow you to use an item while you make weekly or monthly payments. When renting or leasing the item, you do not have to purchase the item and can return it at the end of the rental period or before you make your next weekly payment. You will not receive a refund of money paid. If you decide to purchase the item, the store may give you a price to buy the item or set up a plan to apply weekly rental payments toward the purchase price. The store is the legal owner until you make the final payment. If you miss a payment, the store may repossess the property, which means they take the property back from you. Rent-to-own agreements are technically not loans, so no interest is charged and often no credit check is performed. However, the fees included in your rental payment are just like the interest you would pay on a loan. By making the weekly payments, you will pay much more than if you paid cash or used an installment loan. So we're going to talk about Grace's situation in the activity for today that you will complete after completing this reading. If you have any questions, as always, let me know.